guys, it's me again, Roselyn Tiracho. For today's video, I'm going to make and exhibit 3 instructional materials. 1 from print and duplicated instructional materials, 1 from non-projected instructional materials, and 1 from still projected instructional materials. In making or coming up my 3 instructional materials, I'm going to use inexpensive materials such as color bond papers, marker, scissor, glues, and bond papers for printing one of my instructional material. So I'm going to start making now. So here are the 3 instructional materials that I made. The worksheets or handouts, the PowerPoint presentation, and the mobile. The first one that I'm going to introduce is from printed and duplicated instructional materials, which is the handouts and worksheets. Now, the question is, when are we going to use it? Let's start by tackling the question of when handouts and worksheets should be used. You know, handouts and worksheets are usually a good tool to make sure that the context of an oral presentation can be reviewed by the students after the presentation. We should also know that not all students want a handout and worksheet. For example, if you are discussing to a room of elementary students, it will be distracting. It will going to be a waste because you will ended up cleaning the papers off the floor. However, if you're discussing to a room full of high school or college students, a handout and worksheet could be just what you need to keep them listening and engaging with what you have to say, because this tool allows your students to see the key information about the topic you are presenting, which will help the information stick. Also, when using these instructional materials, it helps your presentation have a clear ideas and points, allowing your students to write down these points that will help them retain and implement the ideas they comprehend on the topic. Now, how to integrate it in a lesson? There are many different styles of handouts and worksheets ranging from fill in the blank and etc. Keep in mind that it is important to select the right style of handouts so that your students can actually write something down if you want them to have retention. So make sure that you provide opportunities for the students to jot down their own notes. I recommend fill in the blank option for presentation or presenting handouts or worksheets, because this allows the students to follow along with your presentation, handwritten information for increased retention, and have an understanding of what they think is important. Also, leave 2 or 3 words in key points blank to keep your audience engaged and pays their attention, just like this. The second instructional material that I'm going to introduce is from the non-projected instructional materials, which is mobiles. Now, let's talk about when to use it. We use mobiles when students are learning how to read words, especially for beginner or elementary students, or to those students who's a slow reader. It is very useful to them because using mobiles can be suspended in a corner of any learning room where they will not get in people's way but still be clearly visible, which makes the students use it anytime and allows the students to have a free access when they want to read or practice their reading skills. Now, the question is how to integrate it in a lesson. You can integrate mobiles in a lesson by using strategies that enables the students to see it and study it. For example, you are making a mobile in alphabetical way from A to C only, and each alphabet corresponds or consists of words that uses the beginning of the alphabet letter, just like the mobile that I made. Then, if you want the students to retain or make their learning more permanent, you will be going to test each one of them to produce any word from starting with the letters they see in the alphabet. And that's how you can integrate or use mobiles in the lesson as an effective tool for learning. The third instructional materials that I'm going to introduce is from the Steel Projected Instructional Materials, which is PowerPoint presentation. Here, take a look. Now, when are we going to use it? When giving a lecture, you can use PowerPoint presentation to highlight key points in your presentation. The visual format of PowerPoint allows you to easily project timelines. You can also use PowerPoint to provide an outline of your talk, and we can integrate this in a lesson by using brief points instead of long sentences or paragraphs, and outline key points rather than write your lecture. Use PowerPoint to guide the presentation and use Notes feature to add content to your presentation that the audience will not see.